Welcome back to the Grep News Podcast. I'm Bam Rather, and our show today is about how the ultimate political outsider just discovered he might actually survive living under socialist leadership in New York City. So here's what happened in the Oval Office that nobody saw coming. Donald Trump, the same man who spent months calling NYC Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani a communist and threatening to cut federal funding if he won, sat across from him and said, quote, "He's going to surprise some conservative people." And then, this is the part that made my coffee go cold when I read it, Trump added, "I expect to be helping him, not hurting him." The question isn't whether this was political theater. The real question is what it tells us about how power works when the cameras are rolling and the stakes are real. Let me walk you through what I found digging into this. Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who won on an affordability platform, walked into that meeting with a strategy that would make any investigative journalist proud. He didn't go in swinging about immigration or authoritarianism, the topics every reporter was salivating to hear about. Instead, he brought receipts on rent, groceries, and Con Edison rates. The boring stuff, the stuff that keeps people awake at night. And that's when I realized what we were witnessing wasn't a political conversion. It was two politicians discovering they both need to solve the same mathematical problem. How do you govern a city where working people can't afford to live? The bureaucratic language from the official readout talks about shared priorities on affordability initiatives. What that means is both men know that when grocery prices stay high while fuel costs drop, somebody's getting rich, and it isn't New Yorkers. When Con Edison keeps raising rates despite falling energy costs, that's not market forces, that's market failure. More after our break.
My name is Tom Sachs. I'm an artist in New York City. For nearly 2 decades, I have been collaborating with Nike.
Nike running is for runners, Nike basketball is for basketball. Nike craft is for everyone else.
Here's where it gets interesting for those of us who remember how these things usually play out. Trump's political brand was built on being the chaos candidate, the one who breaks all the norms. But mayors don't get to govern on chaos. They have to make garbage collection work. They have to keep the lights on. Mamdani understood something crucial going into that room. As he put it before the meeting, it's not about myself. It's about a relationship between New York City and the White House. That's not just diplomatic speak. That's someone who's done the homework on how federal funding flows to cities. The reporters in that room kept trying to create conflict, asking whether Mamdani would call Trump names to his face. But watch what happened instead. They spent an hour in private, then came out talking about crime prevention and affordable housing, the unglamorous infrastructure of governing. For everyone wondering if this changes anything about progressive politics or Trump's approach to cities, here's what the paper trail suggests. It doesn't matter what labels politicians use when they're facing the same spreadsheets. NYC needs federal cooperation on housing policy, transportation funding, and utility regulation. Trump needs cities to function because failing cities make bad headlines. The beautiful architecture of this whole episode isn't the handshakes or photo ops. It's watching two people who supposedly represent opposite poles of American politics discover that rent control and utility regulation don't have partisan DNA. Your key takeaway? Sometimes the most radical thing you can do in politics is show up with a calculator instead of a megaphone. Democracy might just depend on more people figuring that out. Thank you for listening to Grep News. If you are enjoying our podcast, please follow the show. Give us a 5-star rating to help us grow. And learn more at grep.news. Until next time.
Grep News. Thomas.